Hello, this is Sabrina Taro at Pure Luna Tarot 808. Um, First time showing the mug, which I hate doing, but life is about transformations and facing our fears and doing things in a different way. And yes, so here I am. Maybe it benefits someone that I be here, that I show my face, like someone to relate to. And if not, well, it'll be a nice journal for myself. So this is a tarot reading for Christmas, for how to navigate this end of the year season, and especially tomorrow being the 24th and on the 25th, depending on which day you celebrate with your family, if you do both, regardless if your religion or your lack thereof. I'm sure a lot of people, like most religions or everybody around the world, gathers at this time, mostly everybody, right? And if not for the religious or family tradition, because it's the end of the year and it's nice to gather with people. And of course, it's been weird and different years than before, starting with the pandemic, starting with uh, such a change as having our borders closed and having to isolate at home, and the economy and everything, and all the people that we lost during the pandemic. And now we have two ongoing wars, and a lot of injustice, and people are acting out, and we have crazy solar storms, and we've been having crazy solar storms as of lately. We have the as Icelandic volcano doing eruptions, and I live in Costa Rica, and we also have an active volcano. We have several volcanoes, but they're like mildly active, but they are throwing ash, and I can feel and I can sense, and even in a scientific way, and in a way that you could like write about it and see and make observations like a scientist. The full moon and solar storms do affect the behavior of people. People are more reactive, they're more explosive, just like, and I'm not the first one to notice this kind of phenomena, that of course the stars above and the planets above, the sun, the moon, and depending on where the position of the planet is, whenever Mars, anybody who has paid attention to astrology, I'm not an astrologer myself, but I try to understand as most as I can, at least in an intuitive way, because I'm a tarot reader, and tarot and astrology are very linked. Basically, tarot cards are also a horoscope in a way. So I wanted to bring recommendations on how to better navigate this holiday season, taking into consideration that everybody's, maybe not on their best behavior, and it's not everybody, because, and also we have the pressure of the economy, inflation, the price of gas, and unemployment, and not only unemployment, but the working arena in the world has changed a lot. It's become, relationships have become toxic. Like whenever there's a lot of pressure on people, on the world, and there's global events, it puts a lot of pressure on relationships. It puts a lot of pressure on the family. It puts a lot of pressure on the relationship that it is to between an employee and the employer and the employees. And unfortunately, the workplace, in most cases, there's of course exceptions, but most places have become a very toxic place. Like, I'm not gonna get into that, but it is having an effect on this holiday season, and it's probably gonna have an effect on the conversations that are gonna go on in the holiday tables. So I want to bring a recommendation, and I'm using several decks. I'm using here the Bianco Nero, which I love. It's pretty nice, very sexy, and it's made by an artist, by an Italian artist that went to university. So his drawings are awesome. This is the Morgan Greer, who's been around for a while, since the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. Is one of the oldest, like in our contemporary world. Obviously, the the Marseille is pretty old, and a lot of people, and most people don't, because tarot cards are into occultism and they're into secret societies, and that's where they were handled, and that's where they had a place, and they were treated as a sacred thing. And of course, knowing how, not until now, and even now, people still have like there's a lot of people that are against anything that is not the church and is not whatever tradition, and they see this as like, no, you've been cahoots with the devil. And of course, now people can talk shit. Can I say such? Yeah, that I can say bad words. I've already said bad words before. I'm not showing my face. Yeah, people can say shit about whatever they want, but before you get killed. I mean, if the church found you with a set of tarot cards, you go, the Inquisition is gonna burn you alive, or even worse, get more creative with the way they killed you. But nowadays, it's a free world, thankfully, in most places, and tarot has become pretty much mainstream. And for people that are young generations, they don't see much. I mean, they're actually more curious than ever. Everybody has been curious on tarot cards, even back then, back in the day. But I'm digressing. What I was saying is that it's hard to know for sure where and when the first tarot deck was originated. The lore and the occult actually information from secret societies is that it's actually pretty old, probably from the times of Jerusalem, when they were when we had the Romans there, and we had the Greeks and the Romans, and the Kabbalah, and it has all sorts of different occultism, because it's actually a reflection of the heavens. Now, of course, civilization has, I'm doing just like an introduction on tarot. I'll get on to the meat pretty soon. We've I lost my track there. I guess it's fine. Well, regardless of, I have other videos on regards to the origin of tarot. It's probably pretty ancient. The Bible even speaks of, and I don't mean to disrespect anybody, and I hope to find and to receive the same respect if you differ with me. I have a different opinion. We can agree to disagree. But even on the Bible, there's there's talking about lots, of throwing your lots, and on oracles, and dream interpretation, like of Daniel, and all sorts of things that are kind of predictions. The prophets they predict things, and of course the difference between a prophet and what separates the prophet from the liar is only time. Time will tell. But okay, so, and back again to what I was saying. I got different tarot cards because it seems like for tomorrow and the 25th, we're going through deep waters. I have interesting cards. I have like both cards. I have both energies. I have energies of difficult situations in family gatherings, and as well as also of nice uplifting energy as well. So there's going to be a mixture of both. I see that, of course, a lot of us could be feeling like we're trapped. This is the Bianconero, obviously. Like we feel trapped in our situations, and I feel that a lot of people could be going through what could be like people misinterpreting them, or you've been judged here with the Justice. Look how sexy the cards are. Being judged wrongfully for your current situation, because it's easier to blame than to investigate, and to realize people are in difficult situations. And of course, it's so easy to cast an opinion of what's going on, and just to be judgmental at this time in the year. But a lot of people have been going through a lot of pressure, and there could be like some finger pointing. There could be some, mostly I see that the topics that could be a bit difficult could be on regards to resources, on regards to money. to those in the family that might not be doing so well financially, and being attacked because of that. Like, yeah, like seeing somebody in the ground and kicking, kind of a thing. And of course, people that are going through a lot of stress, and people that have been having trouble finding their another job, or a decent workplace that doesn't drive you crazy. Because after the pandemic, I think this is not only for everybody, but I mean, it's for not only people that had a difficult financial situation, but we've had different lessons for different people. Some people had to go through the lessons of being in a difficult financial situation, or or having like job mobility, and finding that the options in the workplace around the world are toxic. Like if you go to Glassdoor and you start checking the companies out there, most companies are crazy, and they think like mistreating employees is okay because the economy is not doing well. And after the pandemic, and after realizing that our life is short and that you can die anytime, and that we don't live forever, we're not eternal, and how much our health is important, and how much a stressful life situations can be so detrimental to your health. We value life, and we see life in a very different way than how we used to see life before the pandemic. So some people have been going through those kind of lessons, and other people have been going through other kind of difficult situations. But I feel strongly, my intuition tells me that there's going to be a a conflict between those that are having a difficult financial time, and people who have been having stress of other kinds in their family, probably emotional unrest or psychological problems, probably generated from the distancing from the pandemic. And even though the distancing has stopped, I mean, it stopped a while ago, people are still distant. I mean, we might not have the restriction of the physical prohibition to mingle, but the restriction of people not having enough resources has in a way distanced people, because it's not that easy to go in and visit your family members, for people that don't have the job security that they used to have. And of course, we everybody knew that we were going to head into this situation, and not only like the astrologers and the tarot readers, I mean also in the political sense, and like in the the standard world, right? We knew that after the pandemic there was going to be problems with the economy, and that the whole world has been like uh, dancing with, if are we in a recession, are we not in a recession, is it like almost a recession, or kind of a recession, not and not wanting. And thankfully things have not gotten as bad as it could have been, thankfully. But still, that has put mostly like fear. I feel like a lot of fear on employers, like fear that the borders are going to close again, and they're not going to have the cash flow that they used to have. And so being giving to their employees, they feel like being that paranoid sense where you're in lack, and you don't want to give anybody anything, because you think if you give anything, or if you give the bare minimum, because you're worried that you won't have anything later. And that's of course causing a toxic work environment around the world. Again, if you don't know about that, you can check Glassdoor and you can see that. I'm sure we'll see articles about that this coming year. But so for people who've been having trouble, this is the Three of Pentacles. Um, and it's about building something. It's about agreeing with the other people about the job that you do, on the plans that you're going to develop. And of course, in the reverse, it means that you don't have that solidity. You don't have that. For people that are having trouble finding their legs in the workplace, I see that there's going to be heated discussions with those that are, and they feel like they are obligated to help out the family members that are not doing so well, and that is triggering them to be not nice. It's triggering them to be caustic and in this way, in the Ten of Swords, in an overkill. And this is a person, I mean, we know in crime scenes, somebody that gets 10 swords in the back. I mean, the person that did this, I mean, they have a lot of anger and they have a lot of fear. I mean, 10 swords, you definitely want the, I mean, it's definitely an overkill. I see that we're going to have opportunities to decide. Oh no, this is not the two. I have it here. To decide. Oh, I had the Three of Pentacles again on reverse. So it's not, and it's about agreements also. The Three of Pentacles is about agreements. It's about agreeing on how things should be built. And we're gonna have like the lesson for this Christmas season, for this holiday season, Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, or just gather with the family celebration that you might have if you're an atheist, which is perfectly fine. Which would be weird if you're watching tarot readings, but yeah, it could be, right? Why not? We're gonna have a lot of lessons, or not lessons, like opportunities, learning opportunities to decide if we're gonna be mean to those who are having a hard time, or if we should bite our tongue and make sure we're not projecting on those people, regardless on which side of the spectrum you're at. If you're doing well financially, or if you're the one who doesn't have a job, and of course you're going to be reactive. If you have a table, and the family table, where people are doing well and there's others that are not, I mean, the ones that have probably their job, they're stressed if they can still keep their job, they're probably being exploited at work. And those that are not able to find a job, or having a difficult finding a job, also have their own stresses. And I feel like there could be a lot of conflict, especially this Christmas, on regards to that. So the recommendation is to be warned that this kind of conversations are going to happen. There's going to be mean people on the table, unfortunately. And to understand that is because they are not able to manage stress, and not to be reactive for the people that are being attacked. And it's going to be hard. And maybe it could mean that you prefer, if you feel like this is going to be your situation, yeah, it might make sense, a lot of sense, if you don't go to the family gatherings, if you otherwise. And I got this card twice, the Ten of Cups, which is about family. It's about harmony, and it's about the happy ending. And we have it here again with the Ten of Cups. This is the crystal power. Where's the box? Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's the power crystal power tarot. We have this one again of the Ten of Cups. It says, I have all I wish for in my relationships. But I have this thought in me a lot, like, remember that family is not only the family, your blood family, it's also the family you make. And it could be with your friends, it could be with the people especially. But this is also a card, the Ten of Cups, because it's about emotions. Cups is about what we hold dear. It's about fighting. We give our best to our family and the sacrifices that we make because we deem family as sacred. And it also has to do with the family we make that shares our same core values. And so it's about, there's some choosing that you might have to do, or just be warned that this kind of situations are going to happen. And that there's a lot of people here with the Three of Swords on the reverse from the manga tarot. We're going through a lot of mental problems, and to, in a way, not to take it personal. And here, it doesn't feel at all like you're gonna take anybody's shit because they're having a difficult emotional, psychological situation. Of course not. But not to take it personal, in a sense that don't take it as an attack. Be warned that is likely to happen, uh, and that people are broken right now. A lot of people are brokenhearted. They're broken, and if you react to their attack, what you have is war. So this is a moment where there's a positive thing to this, which I'm going to say at the end. A lot of people are going to feel during the Christmas table, and I feel it strongly with my heart, that you're going to be misjudged, that you're going to be judged wrongfully, that you're going to not be treated fairly, that people are just going to make ideas and projections of your life and what you've been doing. And don't take it in your heart. Like, don't take it home. Don't take it home. But of course, that doesn't mean you cannot, like, do the NATO kind of thing. You just get up and leave if respect is not being served at the table, which is perfectly fine. The good thing, and to be able to see things, I got this card twice. The Hangman here, which is seeing things from a different perspective. But this is also about, this also relates to, well, there's a lot of myths regarding the Hangman, but mostly it's, well, not mostly, but what I'm feeling right now is Odin's story about he hanging himself from the Yggdrasil. No, I'm not butchering the name, but of the tree, the Celtic tree, the Scandinavian tree of knowledge, from which he hangs himself from 1 foot, and he actually sacrifices one of his eyes in order to gain knowledge. And it wasn't like he did this and he did the sacrifice and he got the wisdom all of a sudden, like, oof, immediately. No, the Hangman is an energy of things that you have to wait, and that not only does it call you to see things from a different perspective, but also that there's a waiting period. And that's what I'm seeing. Like, some people might leave the Christmas dinner table feeling like they were misjudged, but the recommendation is to know that it's going to happen, and to know that people are triggered, that we have the solar storms going on, we have a not so nice combination of planets, especially for the 27th. So people are going to be reactive, because when family gets around and things are not doing well, and there's liquor, and there's a full moon, and people have not seen each other for a long time, and some of the family members are having that difficult financial time, and some are not, and the ones that are not feel guilty for that, and they also feel like trigger guilty, and that may turn them into mean people. I mean, I'm not saying everybody who's doing well is going to be mean. I'm sure there's great people around, and that's like the silver lining I got from this, is that there might be a waiting period because of the Hangman energy showing up twice. Like, you're going to feel like something was cruel and mean and totally out of what one wants in a Christmas dinner. But if you wait, and it's a call, it's a calling to wait, because things are going to get better, because not everybody's mean, and because the world and the energy of the world has a way of balancing itself. And if there's a lot of negative energy, then there has to come some positive energy to balance things out. And that there's going to be, even though it's not going to feel like, if you leave the Christmas dinner and you saw this and it resonated, and you feel like all bummed out because your family members were not what you, like, when you needed it the most, they were like totally triggered and projecting and mean. And because that's what happens when people are very stressed. There's actually studies about this. When people are very stressed for a long time, you start losing, and not everybody though, but most people, you start losing your capacity to be empathetic, to have empathy with others. You get very reactive, you get aggressive, you take everything as a threat, like you become that angry alpha, because you've been going through a lot of stress. So that is what I'm feeling, that a lot of people are gonna be like swimming in the energy they're gonna be swimming in. And again, that doesn't mean at all that I'm recommending that anybody takes shit. I will never do that. But if you try to your best, like you said, oh my God, I haven't seen my family in such a long time, and Christmas is for being with the family and forgiving, and you don't know when you're gonna lose your family members. They might die next year or whatever. And you did your best and you showed up, and it was terrible, and it was a hell of a table. And you feel like there's no hope for humanity. You lose your hope for your family. You lose hope for a lot of people, and you see what happened to them. Why are they so mean to other people? Why are they lacking so much empathy? Why don't they want to investigate and understand before they cast a harsh and heartbreaking judgment on others, or accusations, or even even evil actions against family members? Do know that there's why it's happening. Now, of course, protect yourself from that, and don't engage in the disrespect. You might say a few words of, if you want to talk to me, you better talk to me with respect, and we can agree to disagree, and we can change subjects, and don't take it personal, and be the better person there, be the bigger person. But if that doesn't happen, and they just are triggered, like anybody who works in customer service, you probably have realized that a lot of people are just calling to vent out. They want to vent out. And a lot of people love to vent out with the family. So, and when there's difficult worldwide situations, people want to vent out. They want to find someone to blame for how uncomfortable and conflicted they feel, because they feel like the world doesn't make any sense, and there's no hope for anything, and that everything's rigged and everybody's up to get them. Is I'm not saying it's normal, normalize it, but it's a thing about humans. It's a thing about most of a good percentage of humans. Now, there's some humans that even though they're going through a lot of shit, they don't let money, or like the devil, they don't get the devil get the best out of them because of financial troubles. They don't use money to control people. They don't use money to think that just because you give them help. And this could be, I'm sure this is a family thing that's going, it's probably a dynamic that is and I've collected different stories from different people, and it is happening worldwide. Just because someone is helping you, that don't give them any right to mistreat you, or for you to feel like shit because they did. I mean, it's not your fault. It is for them to grow out of that. It is for them to learn the lesson. It is for them to evolve from that. But if they don't want to, that's their choice. And you have your entire choice to be in a place of, with the Two of Swords, where you're blocking anything that is going to damage you emotionally, anything that feels disrespectful, anything that feels I'm going to feel like shit for several days after the family gathering. If you feel like things are getting tense and disrespectful, I mean, don't be afraid to leave before things get shitty, before you lose your own cool, before you have to raise your voice. You just say, oh, you know what, I'm not feeling well, I have a headache from the wine, I think I'm going to have to go home. And they say, oh, why are you leaving already? No. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. Goodbye to everybody. And then you go home and you meditate and you have a good time, and you look for people. With the Two of Cups, the Two of Cups is not only business, well, of course it's relationships, and it's about, and this card says, I am worthy of the deepest kind of love. Yes, we all are. And we choose, because the Two of Cups is about choosing. You choose your person, you choose your partner. Everybody chooses their partner. You choose your job, because this is also about a commitment. It could be like a romantic commitment, and it can also be like a work commitment, right? Like a contract. We all have the choice. We all have the right to decide who we're going to be intimate with, from family settings to our relationships to our workplace. The workplace can be, of course, more difficult if you need the job and you just have to suck it up. That's a different scenario, of course. But if you have an option not to be in a toxic work environment, you also have the chance. And yes, there's a lot of people, maybe a lot of like women that are they have kids. They've been looking after kids for a while, and they don't have like an income, and they have to depend. Or maybe it's a male. Maybe it's a male that works at home, and his wife is the one that works out. Nowadays, it's of course it's more. It's not like a stereotypical, but there's a lot of people who have to stay in toxic relationships. They have to put up with a lot of toxicity in the relationships because they don't have another option financially. Uh, we know all those stories from our grandmothers who, before women were integrated into the workplace, it was normal for women just to have to suck it up because they didn't have an option and they were full of kids, and what could they do? I'm not saying it's easy when you depend financially on someone else to stop the toxicity, and if you stop that toxic relationship and you take a step back, there's gonna be a lot of sacrifices that you have to do, uh, and you're gonna have to do it with less money, and you have to work triple, and there's gonna be a lot of sweat and tears, but you know that at least you're gonna have your peace of mind and your respect, and that is priceless. So the recommendation for this Christmas season is that know that your family members are going to be reactive. They're going to want to, and I had this one again, Ten of Swords. A lot of people are going to, a lot of family members are going to want to pin you to the floor, to find someone to vent out all their financial fears, their paranoia, even people are doing well financially. They're scared of losing money. They're in lack. And that is giving them a lot of stress, and they want to see fault in everybody else, or they want to see like everybody is up to get them, or they're seeing the worst out of people. Not everybody. Thankfully, the world is shifting. Things are changing. We're going to see a change in this energy. It could be for the beginning of the year, where people are going to be less cutthroat with the Knight of Swords, workplace and family settings, and where with the Hangman energy, the heavens are asking you to be patient. That this darkness that we're going through, where we feel like the devil is in control of people, because when we're stressed and when we let ourselves be angry at others and want to find fault in others instead of seeing them with compassion and trying to see both sides of the story, it feels very hard. It feels like the world is against you. And if anybody is feeling like that, especially because the full moon, the moon, I think we have a moon in Gemini. Moon in Gemini, and I have an ascendant in Gemini. Full moon in Gemini. Gemini, remember, is the mind. And the moon has to do with our fears. It has to do with it, like intense emotions. So yes, with the full moon between tomorrow and the 27th, people are going to be reactive. And those that are not being aggressive or reactive are going to probably be on the other spectrum, as feeling down, having the Christmas holiday blues. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people want to check out of the world during this time more than other years, because the world feels like doom and gloom more than ever. And we have the solar storms, and I've noticed that the solar storms, I'm apart from the aurora borealis that I keep posting on my Instagram, which I love. I mean, they're awesome. But those aurora borealis, they're very taxing on our body. They're taxing on our emotions, and they're taxing on the way other people are reacting, because it brings like turmoil in people. It's like bad interference, bad interference. We know that it knocks down satellites, and it can even cause problems with the internet and with pages and things and like glitches. And but it's not only that, it also affects us emotionally and our vibration and how we feel. Even if you're in a peace mode and you're meditating, you're probably gonna have to meditate even more. You will notice that with whenever there's solar storms, there'll be more mosquitoes for some reason. Dogs get more into fights, and what else? Oh yeah, we have like exploding volcanoes, and people are in that same mode because we're all made of the same stardust. We all have the carbon, the hydrogen, the oxygen, and the organic stuff. Organic uh, matter has nitrogen. So we're made out of the same star stuff. So, and we know by quantum physics that things that are made of the same elements have an effect on the other. There's a vibration. If it starts negatively vibrating here, it's going to start negatively vibrating on the other side because we're made out of the same stuff because of electromagnetism. So just ground yourself. Know that there's hope. There's going to be a change of energy coming soon, and just to be patient. And I know it feels like very hard, and it's going to take a lot of strength from a lot of people to ground yourself here with the strength to tame. And this is very interesting, to tame. This guy is taming a dragon. Usually it's a lion. He's taming a dragon. And this card is also related, if you don't know by now, many cards are related to Bible passages, because the Bible is also related to some positions of the planets. Because it's related, cosmology is related with our religion, and our spirituality, even if we have forgotten about that. But the ancient priestess and hierophants did know about that, and they could see the effect that the position of the planets had on animals and on people and on outcomes of things. And well, back to the Bible verses. This is related to the Bible verse about not letting the animal part be the one that rules your life, but taming the wild animal inside and the human being the one in control. Because of course we're part animal, and that animal part is being affected by the astrology, by the stress of my dogs are going to start barking pretty soon. So we'll take it as a confirmation that I'm on the right path on what I'm saying. And it's gonna take effort not to lose your cool in family settings. But if you just, well, yeah, I don't want to say that don't visit family members or don't go to family gatherings because things are gonna be stressed, especially this year. But if anything happens, hopefully I'm wrong. If anything happens during the family gatherings, you have the strategy. You know what to do. You get up, like the NATO. You make the NATO move. If the respect is not being served on the table, if people don't want to talk to you respectfully, and you came to the family gathering with your best intentions, and the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Yes, if you went to the family gathering with the best intentions and people were not respectful, don't be bummed out. You've been warned. Don't engage with that. Know that they're the ones that are lost, and feel compassion for them, but don't let them disrespect you. Feel compassion for them because they're lost. If somebody needs help and somebody is trying and doing their best, and all they get is stupid judgments from others that are out of place and heartless and inconsiderate, you should have compassion for those people that are blind, that have a heart of a stone right now, and that they let the stress make them turn into evil creatures. And it's not much solace, I know, but the good thing here is that things that are of similar vibration have a tendency to come together. So after this holiday season, when things are gonna the waves of turmoil are gonna calm down a bit. Remember, this is probably the first Christmas season where people are gathering after the pandemic and after losing probably a lot of grandparents that were like the cornerstone of the family. And that makes people very reactive. If you've gone through this situation before the pandemic, you know what I mean. When the cornerstone of the family goes away, a lot of family members' demons make havoc, because there's a lot of things that they need to work out emotionally and psychologically. And that's what I feel like everybody, like, people had their demons, and we all have our demons. I'm not saying, oh, I'm so good, oh, I'm never do anything the wrong way, but of course I fucked it up. Of course I've done wrong things as well. But I make it into a habit that if I not to be unfair, to place myself in the shoes of everybody else, because there was a very wise person that said, love your neighbor like you love yourself. And that means treating others, the golden rule of life, treating others like you like to be treated. The silver lining here, and the gift that I have for you, if you're going through tough times, and I know, I feel you, is that here I got twice the Fool card. And the Fool card is not about being a fool in this, well, it depends on the context, but in this context, because it's coming with the Queen of Cups, which is the most compassionate of all the queens. I mean, she reigns over the heart. She's all heart. And I got her twice. I got her the Queen of Cups twice. And right now, around the world, and I'm gonna use some Christian magic here. I love all kinds of spirituality. Like in the Life of Pi, he said, I'm Muslim, I'm Christian, I'm like, I love all sorts of spirituality, and especially that there's so much wisdom in them. Of course, there's things that are like dated, and there's things that are no. But anything that resonates with that of the golden rule, to treat others like you like to be treated yourself, and to do your best to place yourself in the shoes of others. And I think that after this turmoil of the holiday seasons, but there's going to be a lot of conflictive kabooms, there's going to be, and you're going to feel, what I want to bring is a message of hope. Don't lose your hope. And it's going to feel hopeless for a few days, but know that the universe is sending everybody a great chance, a gift from karma, especially those who've been having the hardest time. You're gonna get gifts from others, like God working through others, God through those that have their hearts open to being compassionate to others, and to know how to give charity to others, because it's quite an art. It's quite an art. I have a very good friend. I love her with all my heart. She probably wouldn't agree with me being a tarot reader, because she's Christian, but she knows I love Jesus too. But and I respect if she doesn't agree with this. But when I was having a difficult time, she gave me such a great lesson. I'm the kind of person I don't like to ask for help. And she asked me, because she's like a prophet. She knows when things are not right. And she said, I was thinking of you, and I wanted to see how you were doing right after the pandemic. And I didn't want to tell her that I was having a rough time. But eventually I did. And she told me the nicest words I ever heard. And she says, thank you for giving me the opportunity to help you. So I hope, sorry, I wasn't expecting to cry, but there's a lot of great people out there. Even if you're losing your hope in humanity, there's still great people. And because, because there's been so much of the negative things in the world, the law of energy establishes pretty well that when a space of negativity is open, a space for good things are open. A space for light is open, especially now that we're passing through a very important time of the solstice. Not only it's not only an important celebration for Christians and for what it means to be a Christian, but for everybody, the celebration of the solstice of winter, that we, even though in the darkest times, we have hope for light, and the world keeps bringing that hope for light, because life is regenerative. The world regenerates all the time. Our bodies are made to heal. Like when you cut yourself, all the cells in your body are constructed in a way that they would heal themselves again. What makes us still be here on this planet, human beings, what has taken us so, I mean, the reason why we didn't disappear as a species is because of the love we had, because of that compassion. Sorry. Because of what Margaret Mead said. They asked her, what is the first measure of civilization that you've seen? She's like a world-renowned archaeologist, and she said, whenever we find a femur, like the largest bone that humans have, here, this is the femur, right? When we find a broken femur that has been healed, and it takes months for it to heal, we know that we found the evidence of civilization, because it means that somebody cared to bring food to those who couldn't get it. And they didn't make any excuses. And they didn't want anything in return. And that is also our DNA. That's the DNA of human beings. And even though we see more examples of people that are mean to each other, that don't care about others, our DNA and what made us evolve and what made us still be here is caring for others without wanting anything in return, and without wanting to own people because you help them, by helping them with an open heart and with a lot of compassion and with a lot of respect. So maybe you don't have the luck, and there's a lot of learning from having a toxic family setting, of course. What's the great lesson from that? You don't want to be that person. You don't want to be like your parents. You want to be better. And that's part of evolution, being better than the previous generations. And that's why we're here. And that's why women have rights. That's why the Black community of the world has rights, even though we're still in great debt, and a lot of debt for the Black community, and a lot of debt for women in many places of the world where they're not treated equally, and where a lot of people make excuses as why that is the way it is, and why people are treated unequally, and why we're not more compassionate. But what has brought us here to this moment, that we have human rights. You know why we have human rights? For those that don't know history, we have human rights. The Geneva Convention, we have it after the Second World War, because we saw how evil we could be. How evil we could be of making divisions, them and us. And after that, the door to hell and the amount of evilness from the Second World War, from the concentration camps, was so big that the universe had to balance the scales. And that's where the human rights come from, because the whole world united and said, we cannot be that person. We cannot be that evil monster in the planet that justifies evilness and the destruction of others, be it that they are destroyed in body or that they are destroyed in soul. So that is the hope that I have. And this is what I want to bring you, that there's going to be hope. There's going to be karmic gifts. There's going to be good people. If you feel like nobody's recognizing, your load is very heavy, and that song, put the load on me. That's not what I was expecting to cry here. But people are gonna be very emotional. I am very emotional, of course, obviously. We're gonna have to wait a bit. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna have to wait a bit for things to be better. Probably until the beginning of the year. We're gonna see more progress. We're gonna see more justice. We're gonna see karmic rewards. We're gonna see like angels. Like angels working through people, like God working through other people, and benefactors, and people that live their lives through their heart, and maybe even transformations of people that see their errors and become better. Because things have been so negative, I do see that there's gonna be balancing of the scales, definitely. And I feel a lot with the myth of the, because life is about rebirth always. This is the season that we're celebrating. We're celebrating the rebirth. We're celebrating that, yes, we go through tough times and it destroys everything and you feel like it's death, and even physical death is also a rebirth in another plane. But for those that are feeling like the gloom and doom and all the weight of the world on top of their shoulders, know, at least give me the benefit of the doubt and wait until January ends. Wait until then to not to check out, obviously, but give it time. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard to be patient. I know it's hard to be in the temperance energy, upside down, and doing all the sacrifices and thinking, oh my God, when is this ever gonna end? But there's, I feel this motherly energy, the Mother Miriam energy, the compassionate woman. I know the Bible, of course, is very chauvinistic, to say the least. It has a lot of things that do not resonate even with the message of Jesus. And there's like a big gap on Mother Miriam, like on regards to who she was. But imagine if she was the mother of the first rebel, the first man to ever talk about human rights, the first man to ever challenge authority, for challenge how things were being made in the name of living through what? Through the heart. That's why all the statues are pointing to the heart, not because it looks nice in a statue. It's because that is the only way, and it's not like, is through the heart. Regardless if you're Christian or you're Jewish or you don't believe in anything or Muslim, it's through the heart. Because all that spirituality that we have, and why it's still so valued and treasured and deemed as sacred, is because the ultimate message of all that of that spirituality is to evolve from our heart, evolve from the animal, from the reptilian brain, from the caveman or cavewoman mentality of each man and each woman for themselves, to that being that stayed there. Maybe they ate less in order to feed the person who had the broken femur. Maybe they didn't go as far. They didn't go as far as they wanted, but they helped the person that had a broken femur. Because they know that in any moment, you could be doing well today, but the wheel of life shows us that it can change any time. You could be that person any day. And to feel grateful when you have the opportunity to help someone else. And yeah, you might have the opportunity to help your family, at least to have to call them out by doing the NATO thing. If respect is not being served on the table, you respectfully get up and you leave. But don't engage in the disrespect. Don't engage in their darkness, because that's the last thing we need. I mean, Everybody's energy levels are so low right now, with the events of the world. You don't need to lose any of your energy. So choose who you be with. Okay, maybe you went to the family reunion and then things got sour and you had to leave. Don't leave that so much brokenhearted. Know that it's not only about the family you were given, but the family you can make. And maybe you can make your community your family. Maybe you make your co-workers your family. Maybe you go to an orphanage and you make them your family. The people that you choose as who you want to spend your life with, that's your family. Your children are your family. Choose people that have the same core values and that are resonating in your same energy. And hopefully you'll be able to, well, when people allow, you might be able to alchemize their darkness into light whenever they're ready for that. And also, oh yeah, I did say about benefactors. Here's the King of Pentacles. There's going to be benefactors. There's going to be good people helping out, and there's going to be karmic rewards. And I send you my biggest, lots of blessings. Prayers for everybody, prayers for the world. I know we're going through difficult times, but it gets the darkest before the sun comes up, like right now, the solstice. And blessings to you all. Find your kindred people. And if you cannot find your kindred people, you might find your kindred people on YouTube. If you like this video, share it with others. If you feel it had something of value, thank you for watching this entire hour. If you did, I hope you enjoy that. If you like a reading on this holiday season, on how to particularly best navigate your situation, or how next year is going to be for you, and the recommendations on how to best navigate the year, my contact info is below. And again, sending you blessings. And if you don't have like a family member or someone kindred, know that we're kindred spirits here over the internet, at least. And may God uplift you. Watch nice things. Watch videos of people doing good things if you lost your faith in humanity. And if you start doing plans on how to check out, how about you start doing plans on how to help others? If you feel like your life is not worth much, or like there's not much hope for you, how about if you use your life to bring hope to others? How about that? How about that? Merry Christmas.